Unfortunately, she sprained her ankle before we even got down. So we never experienced the whole, thing. But she got a taste of desert. I
It
think.
was part that you probably hadn't experienced before.
Oops, sorry.
Either.
No.
'Cause it depends on where you are.
Well, yeah, and usually we hadn't gone out there, in the summer, because I'm thinking it was like July, maybe end of June, July-ish is when she came to visit us. And that's just bad, very bad. Oh, come on, Raven. Okay, you got to get down. You got to get down. Okay, squirt bottle time. Yeah,
She's hiding.
Well, all right.
Okay.
So tell me about the dinosaur dig and kind of how you get out there and how you can find the actual fossils once you get out there.
Oh, so if you're going down 550, you're going to San Ysidro, but you're going to see a white top of a mesa out there. That's where they're mining gypsum. So there's a little road off to your left, and I'm not sure the name of the road. There's a name to it. We just know that it's like a frontage road. It's dirt, all dirt, not well maintained. So you're going to make a left on that little dirt road. There is a fertilizer plant also off to the, when you're on the road, it's off to your left. And you'll see black smoke. It looks like smoke, but it's fertilizer.
Okay.
So you pass that, yeah, and then you know you're on the right road. And if you come to the fork in the road, one's going to take you to the gypsum mine, one's going to continue you down into the BLM part of it. I believe it's BLM land.
And for the record, BLM stands for?
Bureau of Land Management.
Okay.
Yeah. You're going to go through there. I think some of it's private land because it is fenced. I think there's some cattle out there. You're going to go over a cattle guard. Once you pass the cattle guard, you're into BLM. So there's many places you can park. There's some bike trails out there. We usually go past all of that, and there's no names to the roads. You just kind of know which ways to go. So you're going to follow this little snaky road, and then you're going to keep bearing to your right, and you're going to see this big canyon kind of coming upon you. And there is parking now in there. They have it fenced off a little bit. It used to not be that way. It was just an open field and everybody knew to park there. But now it's maintained, so you can park there. And you're parking and you're going to walk across from where you've parked your vehicles, heading east. Yeah, you're going to go east on, you can put her down, that little road. They've put fencing up, so as far as I could tell, you just follow the fencing in. It's like a little trail, and you just keep following the trail. It starts out smooth and easy, but it's once you get to the trail, it's pretty smooth when you first start. But you have to be aware of your surroundings because there are rattlesnakes out there and many other kinds of critters. Rattlesnakes are the ones you really have to watch for. Everything else kind of scurries away and you don't have to worry about it. Okay. Now, we've never found any fossils in there. The only thing, like I said before, when we were going for that long hike with my cousin, we never got down far enough because she sprained her ankle. The only thing we ever found, and we were told this by a junior archaeologist who was my mom's nurse, homebound nurse, he said to look for piles of rocks. It's just like a pile, like somebody just, put them and scattered them right there. And if you look at them real close, they're nice and polished and soft and shiny once you've cleaned them up, because they're probably going to be dirty. And that's where the dinosaurs had, what's the best to use? Evacuated the pile of rocks.
Okay, like the gizzard and chickens.
Yes,
and stuff.
like a gizzard. Yeah, the chickens have to eat little pebbles. So did the dinosaurs.
Okay.
And he said that there's little piles of pebbles out. They're pretty good size. I mean, they're probably about half the size of my palm. And just look for them, and then you're going in the right direction. We never found any fossils in that area because we just never went back after that. We did find the piles of the pebbles. They were evident. You could see little piles, you know. It wasn't like they were strategically placed. You had to
Right.
look and maybe go off the trail a little bit to find them, but they were there.
It's wild that they would still be there
Oh yeah,
after all this time.
all this time, and still shiny and polished,
Just untouched, essentially.
untouched.
That's the wild part.
Yeah, well, nobody goes out there. It's too hot. There's no
Yeah.
shade. I mean, there are some juniper, small juniper and little piñons, but for the most part, it's just hot. Direct sun the whole time.
Definitely a bring an umbrella kind of a thing.
I would bring a hat, sunglasses, because there's a glare from the rocks and everything. But yeah, it's a nice open area. If we ever do go back, yeah, it'd probably be worth investigating. And they say that it was the biggest dinosaur dig in the state of New Mexico. That we'd have to Google and look up who found it. I don't know who did. I just know that my mom's nurse, who was the archaeologist, he's the one that told us about it. And he told us directions how to get there, and sure enough, it was easy to find. Yeah, the fossils are on the other side where the cars are parked. That big mountain, that's where we've been before, because we've gone ATV riding out there. You park and then you just start heading toward that big mountain. It looks like a cliff when you're first driving into it, but it's, you know, once you're there and you look up, it's like, yeah, it's a pretty big little, you know, size trot to get up there. Straight up, more or less, but you can kind of weave your way through and get to the top if you're, you know, strong enough and adventurous enough. But there you can find fossils. We found, now I'm going to go blank. We find clams, oyster shells. I'm going, is it Amorites? The ones that go like this in circle.
The little nautilus.
Nautilus, there you go.
Nautilus shell.
Yeah, we found those out there too. We've never found, I've always wanted to find a leaf fossil. Never have been able to find one.
You'd think there would be more of those than anything else.
Think so, but we've never been able to find any leaf or, you know, green matter fossilized. There is petrified wood out there also. We found that. There's quite a bit of stuff. You just have to look for it.
Okay. Do you have any idea what that kind of site is called, even by a colloquial nickname?
The dinosaur dig.
Dinosaur dig?
That's what the guy, the nurse told us. It was just a dinosaur dig. Now the name, I sent you the website. Onyate? No, that's not right. Oh, now I'm going blank on the name. There is a name for that area. It's a study site.
Okay.
Because it actually goes out to Cabazon Peak, which is a volcanic cap. If you continue to go west on that 550, it'll take you out to Cabazon Peak. And if you get there and you just kind of park at a higher level, you'll see the volcanic caps everywhere. There's fossils out there as well. We have found, no, get down, get down.
It's called Dog of the Desert.
No, it's,
.net, that's the website.
oh,
For the dinosaur dig.
yeah, but there's a name for that area. It's wilderness study. Ojito? I think it's Ojito. Is that right? Ojito? I think that's what it's called. It's a study site. They usually take what? Wildlife study area, yeah, but I think it's Ojito. But that's how he found out, because they take the junior archaeologists out there and get them familiar with the layers of crustaceans and everything that they can find. Yeah, should we find there now? I lost my train of thought.
Me too.
Yeah, Cabazon Peak is interesting too. We just got done watching 2 videos last night. 2 separate people went hiking to the top, and there's supposed to be petroglyphs out there also. And it's a strenuous hike. I won't try it.
Right.
He won't try it. It's just, you got to be young and strong to get up to the top. But yeah, that area has got a lot of fossils. The shark's teeth are in that area. There's just a whole array of artifacts. Pottery shards, you can find that. You have to really go deeper into the desert. You got to have an ATV for that.
Right.
Yeah, and that's why we got the ATVs, because we were just out there hunting anything we could hunt.
Sounds like a good time.
We found geodes.
Ooh.
We thought we struck it rich because there were geodes everywhere, and the archaeologist confirmed it too. We told him about it. He says, "Oh yeah, there's geodes, but when you crack them open, they're dry." And he said the reason being is there wasn't enough water in this area at the time when they were forming. So we've never found any at the dinosaur dig. We looked for them there also, never found them. That area, for some apparent reason, I guess when the waters were receding, they just were forming, but there wasn't enough to form the crystals.
That's interesting.
It was interesting. And we brought so many of them home. We were thinking, oh my God, we're going to get rich. And we're cracking them. It's like nothing. Cracking them, nothing. We went through the whole thing and nothing.
Easter eggs without any candy.
Easters with no candy, yeah. But it was fun. The hunt was fun, just to try and find the biggest geode that we could find. But because there was no moisture, it just wasn't forming the crystals. So that was fun time. But yeah, the dinosaur dig, that was mainly marine artifacts.
Okay.
Yeah, shells, all kinds of shells. The dinosaur rocks. We've never found fossils of actual dinosaurs or any type of animal other than marine life. And no, leaves or anything like that. We've tried, but never. Because there's layers out there. As you get the one side where you park your cars, if you go up there, you can see layers. It's is it limestone? Where it's flaky. I think it's limestone.
Okay.
And you start flaking some of that away, and we were hoping to find something, but never happened. Yeah.
You had also talked about the anthills and how that's a factor to be able to find where they are.
Yep.
Can you talk about that?
Sure.
Is there any more than I just said?
So basically, when you're out anywhere for that matter, you want to stop at the anthills. I mean, don't get yourself bit, but hover over it and just have something, that you can move some of the rocks away, because they're little miners underground and they're throwing out trash. But for us, it could be a treasure. It'll tell you if you have quartz, gypsum, obsidian, what kind of rocks are in that area. It'll tell you. It'll also show you if there's shark's teeth. They'll start out itty bitty teeny tiny. Actually, up there, that's some of our samples that we've collected.
Okay.
I can take it down if you want to see it.
Yeah.
You want to see it now?
After this.
After this, okay. And they'll kick out everything. Anything that you're looking for will be in that anthill. So it doesn't matter where you're going, just check out your anthills. Sometimes you have to dig a little bit, go farther out, and then kind of work your way into the mound and then see what you're seeing. If you can identify your basic stones and your rocks, then you know what you're coming into. Lots and lots of gypsum, not gypsum, I'm going blank now. It's the, it's a crystal.
Okay. Quartz?
Quartz, thank you. It starts with a Q. Quartz, yes. Yeah, there's lots of quartz in the area, especially up where we've been. Lots of quartz there. Sometimes you can find pottery shards, itty bitty pieces, not the big ones, but itty bitty pieces. I don't think I have any up there. I think I have some over at the other house. But if you know what you're looking for and you can identify what they're kicking out, it'll tell you what's in that whole area. Yeah, they're interesting. And they're pretty prolific. They're everywhere. Just have to find them
Okay.
and start from there.
Do you know the correlation between what kinds of rocks and if there would be marine fossils there?
Based off of the anthills?
Yeah.
Like
which kind of rock are more commonly found with those fossils?
With those fossils.
The likelihood of finding it.
Yeah, sandstone is pretty common. The quartz is also common. I think we've found some volcanic rock in the area because this is a volcanic state. And especially the farther west you're going to go, you're going to have more of the volcanic caps. Obsidian is a big factor. When you start finding obsidian, you're more likely to find some other fossils.
Because it's kicked up from deep.
It's kicked up from deep, yeah. And there's another one that it looks like glass. When you're out there and you see this shiny stuff just shining back at you and you think it's glass, and you're walking up to it, it's volcanic glass. And it's very shiny, but it's very fragile. You pick it up and you can basically kind of look through it. You can see all the, makeup of the cells that make up that little glass.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, that's very cool. We've got samples of that too. Yeah, when you find stuff like that, then you know you're more or less in an area where you're going to find some sort of fossils. But most of the fossils we've ever found have been marine life, nothing of animal. I mean, we found animal bones.
Right.
I'm kind of morbid, but I collect little
I like to collect bones too.
jaw bones of animals. I think we collected scat from an owl. We found a nesting area where an owl had been, I guess, roosts at night, and they have to upchuck the scat. Yep, it's an owl pellet. And when you start opening it up after it's been dried, you'll see all the bones inside that scat. That's pretty interesting too. I saved it.
You find some good bones in owl pellets.
You do. Yes, you find all kinds of fun stuff. Everything that anybody else doesn't think is interesting, but you'll find stuff. So you just have to, open your eyes and look around and see what's there, listen to. You can hear the wildlife that's in the area. But yeah, start with the ants. They're your first source of opening, your door to what's in that area. You'll find some stones that I can't identify them. They're just kind of maybe an orange color or, maybe a little green. So there's different stones out there in the desert. But it's just a matter of getting out there when it's comfortable and that we can handle it because there's no shade.
Well, right now, just with the heat wave that's been going on, you can't handle it in the shade either.
No, you can't. You can't handle it even in the shade. It's hot. Raven, be good. Yeah, you can hold her if you want to.
Maybe she'll be more satisfied if I pet her.
She might. Yeah, she might. But yeah, it's an experience to go out there and just start looking around. Usually when I'm out there, I'm more down like this than I am up and around.
Right.
I'm more focused on what's on the ground because there's just so much to look at. I think I've always been a rock hound. My aunt got me into rock hounding also because she was doing it in Pennsylvania. So she had brought us all kinds of samples, big, huge crystals. Amethyst, we have amethyst from Colorado. So yeah, I wish we could find some here. I think the amethyst is more down south.
You ever see stuff like jasper out there?
There's jasper out there, yep. I have a sample over in my other China hutch. We had gone ATV riding out on the south side, or not the south, the west side of Rio Rancho on the ATVs, and we stopped to take a break. And I just automatically start looking. And I found this piece. It's, I think I told you about it. It's flat on one side. There's a hole in the middle with little crystals around. I should have gotten that and brought it over. I can still get it and show you. And that was found just, west of Rio Rancho, kind of on the ranch that's back there. I believe it's the Black Ranch. But yeah, they don't want you back there, but sometimes the fences are down and it's hard to tell where the boundaries are, and we just keep driving until we can't drive no more. And that's how we found that piece.
And you told me about it, but tell the recording, like, what you figured out that it was.
Okay.
The piece with the hole in it.
A piece with the hole in it. So I showed it to the junior archaeologist nurse, and he said that it's a woman's tool, and the one side was flat, so she must have used it to like pound leather, hides from an animal. And using it for pounding. And then there's another side of it that's a little sharper, and so she could have been scraping maybe the dried meat or something off of it. So that was her tool. She put a piece of, his rendition was, she probably put a piece of leather through the hole and wore it as a necklace, but it was her tool. And it fits my hand perfect. It doesn't fit his hand. So that's why he said that even the nurse said it was made for a woman's hand. So that was like the ultimate coolness of finds. Wasn't even looking for anything and I found it.
Very nice. The landscape, when I conjure the image of what it looks like out there, it's flat and just no shade at all. Would you say that's accurate?
It's not flat. It's kind of rocky. It's like you're going into a canyon. Okay, so you're from where you park your cars, you're walking down, and you can see as you're going down, it's opening up into it's not flat like you see up in Rio Rancho. It's kind of a hilly canyon. Okay. Lots of rocks.
Arroyos?
There are washouts, yes, and those are the best things to look through, is the washouts, because you'll never know what you're going to find. That's going to tell you also what's in the area.
Because it collects everything.
It collects everything. You can find arrowheads, pottery shards, anything. So I usually start looking at the washouts too, and let it go down and keep following it to see where it ends. Yeah, those are great sources to look at stuff too. But yeah, it's not flat like you think. There are cactus out there, but there are junipers and piñons that are, I don't know, maybe 6, maybe 7 feet tall. It's not going to give you a whole lot of shade. I mean, if you're sitting on the ground, yeah, and kind of get under it, you can get a little bit. Now, the other thing that you can find off of the trees is the sap, amber.
Oh, very cool.
Yes, amber. I've got samples of that. When you rub it, because it's little balls, they fall to the ground also. They dry and fall. And if you start rubbing it and heating it up and smell it, it's the best smell ever.
It's like the pine.
Oh my gosh, it is so nice. I wish I could get an infusion of oil and make it and just kind of wear it as a perfume.
You'd have candy.
I know.
Candy circles stuck to your skin.
That's really, for me, I like the smell. I don't know about anybody else, but when you start warming that amber up and rub it, it's just nice smell. You can hold it up to the sun, and it's not totally see-through, but you can see light coming from the other side.
Okay.
Yeah, so those are other things that I've, gotten attracted to, is the amber.
And that's new amber, not fossilized amber, right?
No, that's new.
Okay.
Yeah.
Still very, very cool.
It's still very cool, and it is hard. So if you had a polishing machine, I would think you could polish it up and make it like you see when you go buy amber. We've never seen anything encased in it, but again, it's new amber coming off of the trees that are already established. It's not to say that there probably could be some, but you'd have to dig. And I'm not sure what the rules are for that area.
For actually digging into
for digging into the earth.
What's on top.
Yes. There's probably, because it's BLM, I'm sure they have policies, and they're not going to probably be happy with anybody going out there with shovels and pitchforks and start digging around. Excavation, yeah. I don't think they'd want that.
Okay.
But just to go out there for a day hike and just enjoy the wilderness and see what you see, You know, oh, that's the phone. I know, oh, the heavens opened. The rapture.
No! I have stuff to do.
Not yet. Yeah, it's. Lost my train of thought. What was I going to say? I got distracted by the rapture.
Polishing amber.
Polishing the amber. Yes, if you had the right machine, you could probably take the new amber and polish it and make it into some sort of jewelry. I mean, that was kind of my thought at one point too, if I ever collected enough, because it's different sizes, shapes, you know, different colors. Some are darker, some are a little lighter. Some have a stronger smell to it versus another. I think the older they are, maybe the smell isn't as intense as when you first get a fresh, you know, ball of amber. That smells just spectacular.
Is it the kind of thing that you could like melt down a bunch of small ones and make a bigger piece?
Probably. I would have to investigate and see how to go about melting it without burning it.
Right.
I'm sure there's a way to do it.
Because if it's out there with that blistering heat all the time, it's probably not going to melt at too low a temperature. It'd be something you'd need to have over some kind of forge. Or
Yeah, you've got to have some heat. Now the balls don't spread out. They're usually directly underneath the trees. So when you start seeing the trees, that's when you start looking for your little balls of amber. I've never really seen anything away from the trees. It's always been around any of the trees that are out there.
What kind of tree is it that makes the sap?
I was going to ask that, yeah.
Yeah. So there's juniper and there's pinon out there also. So those are the two, but I'm thinking it's the juniper. Is it juniper? Scott, is it a juniper that's out there? Huh? Yes, okay, so it's juniper. I'm thinking the juniper is the one that gives off the saps.
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure I've gotten some from the pignons too. Maybe not as big of a ball. So it's just a matter of looking at the trees too.
Whenever we've gone out hiking places like that and we see the juniper, and then we'll see like little coyote poops, and they're always green-blue because they've been eating the juniper berries and it turns their poop.
Turns their poop a different color.
Which is just funny that that's a thing that they would eat and that's what would happen.
Exactly. Oh yeah, they're opportunists. They have to eat what they can.
That being said, do you see a ton of other wildlife besides like the hidden rattlesnakes?
Well, we've seen lizards out there. There's jackrabbit. Cottontails are out there. Coyotes, definitely. You have to be aware. There's coyotes out there.
Coyotes are pretty skittish though, right?
Some are.
Further out, they don't really care as much.
We've never had any come upon us, like, you know, I'm just going to keep walking up to you. They look at you, they kind of hang for a minute, and then they're out of there. We haven't gotten like super close to where we can touch them or anything. I think the ones here in the village are a little bit more accustomed to seeing people, so they stand and look at you longer and, you know, wonder what's going on. But the ones out there, they'll look and stand for a few, but then they're gone. Trying to think what else we've seen. And if you do go out there, you need to wear boots, wear hiking gear, because it's so, you know, you have to watch where you step, because one move could move a rock and you could twist your ankle, like my cousin did. And she didn't have the right shoes. That was the downer. She didn't come prepared, but she wanted to see the desert. Right. So it's just one of those things. It happens.
Yeah, I've rolled my ankle before. Can't say it's the greatest thing ever.
It's not. It's not. It's very painful. But yeah, trying to think of some of the other things out there. Oh, turkey vultures. Oh. There's turkey vultures flying around. That's the other thing. If you want to see, it's kind of morbid, but if you want to see a dead carcass, you look for the turkey vultures flying around. And just go out in that area and just keep following it, and you'll come upon whatever they're going after.
Is there anything else about the dinosaur dig or out there that you can think of besides Bring plenty of water.
Bring plenty of water, yes, hats, long sleeves, pants, good hiking boots. I'm trying to think. Make sure your cell phone's juiced up too, just in case. You never know. Now, people go out there target practicing too. That's the other thing. So if you're hearing shooting, just be aware that there's somebody out there target practicing. Hopefully not, but you just never know. And there was one time we came across a guy, and we were just out there exploring. We hadn't gone to the dinosaur dig yet. We were just exploring some of the side roads before we got there, and we went down this one road. There was no trespassing signs at the entrance, and we're like, okay, well, it looks like it's wide open. There's nothing there indicating that it's a private property. So we turned down there, and out of the blue we saw dirt coming up, and this truck was speeding toward us, and we're like, okay, that's weird. Must be a rancher. We're thinking a rancher because there's cattle out there. And the guy, he came directly in front of us and made us stop. And we were like, what's going on here? So we made sure the doors were locked. We weren't packing that day. We left everything at home because we were exploring. And he came around and he wanted to know what we were doing on here, on this road. What are you doing here? And we're like, just exploring. Well, you're not allowed here. Get out. And it's like, well, there's no trespassing sign. Get out. And he was dead serious. He was not being nice to us. He wanted us gone. And we're like, what's down at the end of this road? But we just were like, we didn't want no trouble. We weren't sure what he was up to, what his gimmick was. We just turned around and went back out. But that's one thing. Just be aware. I would stay on the main road, the BLM road, and just follow that around. You're going to see as you go around one corner, there's like a huge, valley. That looked like a really cool area to hike too. I think there was a place a little farther up before we got to the turnoff where you could park your car and follow the trail. We've never been down that trail. But that valley looked really interesting too. Lots of rocks. So just be prepared. I would say the best times to go are in the fall, late fall into winter. And there's really nothing you're going to miss as far as flowers blooming or trees, budding out. It's going to look the same in the desert or in the summer as it does in the fall and the winter. It's just you're more protected from the elements. No bugs, no snakes. At least you hope there's none. Unless it's a mild winter, then they will come up and sun themselves. We came across a rattlesnake at the end of, was it Tamaya? Do you know where that is?
Sounds familiar.
It's the casino at the end of 520. Was it 528? As you're going north. There's a dam back there that it's kind of on Indian reservation, but you can go to the end of that road. And we had gone out there, and we didn't know. This was in November after it was Thanksgiving Day, and my in-laws were with us, and my mother-in-law decided to walk over here, and we were all kind of over here, and she screamed bloody murder, and there was a big rattlesnake up on the lava rock just sunning himself. But it scared her so bad. So it just wasn't cold enough for him to stay under, so they came up to sun themselves. So that was a first encounter with a rattlesnake. And you just have to be aware of, the time periods when you go into the desert. And tell people where you're going. That's the other thing. Don't just go out there hilly-nilly and, you may not get phone service, you just never know. Also, when the road is muddy, oh, that's bad. It sucks you into the side. No matter how hard you stay in the middle, it just sucks you into the side. It's like peanut butter, and you get down deep if you're not careful. We had that happen when we went out there one time. I didn't prepare for such a muddy road.
Right. Because it's all clay and just
It's
loose
clay and it's just this peanut butter goo, and it just sucks you in up to the axle.
Wow.
Yeah, so I would take a shovel with you if you're going to go out there.
Some planks of wood.
Planks of wood, anything you can find, you know, that you think you might need to get yourself out of a stuck situation. Because there's really nobody that lives out there. It's BLM, open land. Occasionally you might see the gas people go through there because the gas line is on that way. But for the most part, it's ranchers or people just out there exploring. You know, it's one of those kind of places to go to. But it's fun. For the most part, I think it's fun. You know, we've always had fun out there. It's just another place to go explore.
Okay. Do you know how you'd prefer to appear on the book? Like what name you'd like to use? A secret code name or
Ooh.
your first name or whatever it is? Your cat's name?
Wow. How about MamaWolf?
MamaWolf?
Yeah.
Can do.
Yeah, MamaWolf.
I can do that. Alright. Thank you
Oh,
for
you're welcome.
spending this time and helping me do all this.
Oh,
and
yes.
Contributing your knowledge to the interview and to the book and everything.
You're welcome.
It's greatly appreciated.
Oh, you're welcome. I appreciate you asking me too.
Of course.